Raise a glass for what may be the worst season. Okay. Cheers to heartbreak. Cheers to mismatched couples. Cheers to, are we blaming Chelsea still? Cheers to the damn thing is finally over. But oh, wait, there's all the post podcast, interviews, reunion, drama still to come. But well done for zero weddings. Okay. Give a round of applause. Golf clap, golf clap. It was a tragedy. Okay. A train wreck we all watched all season long. And we are finally here with the weddings. Okay. But if you are new here, I'm your girl, Denise Brady, a licensed marriage and family therapist. And you know, y'all looking forward to my review, right? Okay, right. So just for y'all, I'm gonna drop it a little bit early today. Okay, because we got married at first sight coming up, so we gotta move on. But make sure you hit that like, you subscribe, raise a glass. Clink, 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 clink. Okay, hit that like, subscribe. Do your girl a favor. Okay, drop some comments. Now we are at the finale, and whew, we got 12 episodes this season. 12. Now, did we need the 12? Was it too much extensions? Let me know your thoughts. But here we are with 3 couples left. And we see the ladies at a little bit of a bachelorette party, which was probably very bland because we only got 2 minutes of that. I'm like, was KB even there? The biggest thing to me about the bachelorette party is that you could tell that Allie's friends are about money, aesthetics, just like she is. Birds of a feather flock together. Okay, how long can you really be with this man? And he's a truck driver. Okay, how much money does he make? Not to mention the 2 friends, it sounds like they going through a divorce. So ain't no way I'm about to, as a fiance, probably take advice for 2 women going through a divorce now. Okay. That's probably not a good idea, but these are my homegirls. But ask yourself, do you want advice from 2 people who are going through a divorce, who are fixated on money and aesthetics? Okay. But let's move along because it was boring. All right. Now we get to way number 1. Way number 1, Alan and Anton. Okay. Now, with them getting ready to get married, her family ain't with it. Okay, we have 2 different cultures. There's still concerns about him drinking a lot. And Allie is trying to say, just give him some grace. Open up a little. Okay. But what do we know about Anton? 12 episodes in. He's in what? Transportation logistics. He likes to take it to the head and drive the boat throughout the week. We saw a few of his friends and we saw his mother. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, what do we know about this man? He really didn't say much. Not enough for me to want to marry you. And the things I do know about you from your friends, the girlfriend who I guess is a girlfriend of only 3 months of one of his friends, you drink. You're trying to change your life, but we still don't know what you're trying to change your life from. Okay, we still don't know what you're trying to change your life from. All right. I don't know much about you to spend the rest of my life with you, and my family is not on board. My sister didn't even want to be a part of the show. Oh, but then the sister shows up to the wedding. And Allie is like, oh my God, oh my God, you're here. I can't even hug you because I have on all this makeup. And her sister is saying, I'm not for this, but you're an adult. A very matter of fact way. No sugar. Okay. I'm not for this, but you're an adult. You're going to make decisions that are best for you. Okay. And in that moment, I wonder if that was the moment where she was like, you know what? If my sister can put aside her beef with this whole thing, then maybe it ain't right for me. Maybe I need to listen to my sister and my mother. Even though the mother was, I think, trying to support her daughter. But to me, I feel like in that moment, that sisterly, like, oh, you showed up for me when you don't really F with this whole experience. You put aside your stuff for me to come here and tell me you don't agree with this. And maybe it's not the best decision, but you respect my decision. So for me, I'm like, oh, that to me felt like the, uh, I don't know if I can really do this. Okay. But she looks beautiful. The family's trying to give him grace when they really ain't effing with it. And then we finally get to the aisle. Okay. They ask him first, do you take Allie? And he says, I do. Quick with it, right? Quick with it. Quick with it. They ask her, do you take Anton to be your husband? Pause. Long silence. Pause. Like, okay, girl, the pause is telling me everything I needed to know. It's a no. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. The long pause. Okay. You didn't need to say much after that, girl, because the pause told me everything I needed to know. You're not my man. You're not my person. And it's interesting because I feel like her family had no reaction. The difference in the reactions from both sides of the families let me know you would have had a hard time in his family. Okay. Because right after she says, I can't do this. You're not the person I fell in love with in the pods. I found out more stuff about you that was unsettling. I gotta go. I gotta go. And pan to his side of family. Okay. And Russians are very direct people. Okay. My last boss, why do I feel like I have a piece of like hair? My last boss was a Russian woman. And see, I quit my job. I left corporate alone after her. Okay. Not saying everybody's the same, but I have not had the best experience with working with someone who was my boss, who was also of Russian descent. Okay. But maybe I needed that to let me know this was best for me right here. Okay. But one of was it her friend that no, it wasn't her friend. It was somebody on his side of the family that called her a cold-hearted bitch. You did the right thing, Allie. Okay. Though I think you probably knew ahead of time, and that's the thing with this show. If y'all know ahead of time, why not do what some of these other couples have done? Don't get dressed up. Don't do all the makeup. Sit on the couch in your fake apartment and just call it off. Okay. Do y'all get extra money if y'all make it all the way through the aisle? And what would this season have been like of everybody before the weddings had just called it off? I wonder how would they have done? What would they have done to kind of fill the space? Okay, because we almost got there this season. I think eventually we might get there where there's no actual weddings, like no one is, dressing up. They call it off before. Okay, but he's like, he's disappointed. His family is very cold. Like, okay, where the car at? Okay, you can do better. Moving on. All right. But these two, to me, are two different people. And I think it's good that in the post pod, you get to live together and experience each other's lifestyle because that's where it really came out that, nah, it ain't for me. Now let's get to it. We get to KB and Edmond. Okay, we get to KB and Edmond. All right. Let me pull it up. Okay, let me pull it up. We get to KB and Edmond, and y'all, her mother looks very beautiful. She's very kind of like matter of fact, but still kind of, I think, trying to be soft. Okay. Edmund says, I don't have cold feet, I have hot feet. I'm ready to jump in. I'm ready to be married. I'm ready to be a father. And to me, the best part of their wedding ceremony was the teacher. Okay. The best part was the teacher. It highlights and shows the impact of teachers and how much of a difference they make in a child's life. Okay. Because without his teacher, He says himself, where would he be? She fed him. She learned about herself as a teacher from him. That it's okay for students to show up as themselves. Maybe they need a little bit of movement, laughter, dancing, and it does not take away from her being able to teach. That to me was the best part. That was the best part because I feel like teachers are just forgotten about. They spend what 8 to 10 hours a day with a child, and a child like Edmond who doesn't have a lot of family. I think being in foster care, his mama didn't show up to the wedding. He said because she had other things that she was preoccupied with. Should she have even come on this show? Okay. To me, it was just another disappointment for him. That little boy in him needed his mother and wanted her there. And due to whatever reasons that what she got going on, she couldn't show up. And that to me was the beginning of a disastrous day. What could she have been doing to not show up? Yet the teacher seemed like she lived in another state and flew out to be a part of his day. Because she says you came to Colorado and that's where you were able to find a wife. So I'm like, oh, he didn't grow up here. Or at least when he had that teacher. Or maybe yeah, it gave to me that he didn't actually go to school when he was with that teacher in Colorado. He was somewhere else, another state. But the fact that she stepped away from her life, her kids, her husband, probably her job, but your mama couldn't show up and put aside her stuff. That says a lot to me. That says a lot. And that little boy and that child in him, that childlike quality that y'all don't like, the vulnerability that y'all are uncomfortable with, seeing somebody who to me is not neurotypical on this show, that makes y'all uncomfortable because y'all are only comfortable if y'all can label somebody. And once y'all label them, okay, he's on the spectrum. I feel better about myself now that I put him in a box. Okay. He's on the spectrum. Why couldn't he have been on level on the spectrum? Okay. Because people are not comfortable unless they can label them and they can judge them. But Edmund is a regular person on this show. Every season, people say, where the regular people at? Where the regular people at? And I think this season, we got some of the most regular people. Okay. But throughout their day, they finally, get up there. He's super excited. He's ready to get married, ready to have kids. And they keep panning to KB's mom. The look on her face is like, oh, damn. He's so excited and he's about to be disappointed. Each time I see her face, I'm like, oh, I already know what's about to go down. Okay. And to me, once again, if you knew you were going to say no, why get to this point? Why go up to the altar? Why get dressed up when you knew you wasn't really into this man? You're not really feeling him. To put so many people through something that was not needed, so much hurt. And I wonder, do y'all think that KB is getting a villain narrative, a villain edit? I want to talk a little bit more about that. Okay. But I do want to talk more about her being a villain this season. Every season has somebody who's a villain. And I think because of lack of substance this season, storylines, I think in some ways, she is a villain, but did she do it to herself? Okay, let me put that tap in the back. Okay, going through my notes. He yells out the biggest screech. Oh! He's like, I will marry you, yes. And let me go back because I kind of jumped. Now, as he's standing up there, when he's saying, yes, I will marry you, blah, 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 it gave, I'm trying to prove myself, low key begging. I think it felt like it was low key begging. Yes, I will marry you. Yes, I'm ready. I'll give you everything. Just love me. Just see me. Just love me. Just see me. Say something nice about me. Say something nice about me. Okay. And he, of course, says, I do. And then it's your turn, KB. What you gonna say? And as he's talking, you see, pay attention to body language, facial expressions. She looks down. I was like, oh, damn. Damn, 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 damn. This man about to get his heart broken. Mama face told me that. KB face told me that. And when it's her time to say I do, it's like, oh. And then he yells out this, oh, KB. No. That was painful to watch. So painful. I don't know. Have we ever seen anybody at the altar react in such a dramatic way? And I know people feel like he is adding on, adding extra sauce on it. It was like, oh, oh. KB, you knew you wasn't feeling him like that. You thought I was feeling you? You thought I was feeling you? No. And she says, I do love you. Love does not walk you down that altar to embarrass him. Love does not make you pause about saying I do. And I think it would have been so much better if in that, even I was going to say in the dressing room, but even before the dressing room, you had just said, I don't think this could work. I've been trying to convince myself. I've been trying to see the best in you, but I can't put my happiness aside for you. I need to choose myself. No need to wait till you're up there in front of everybody. Yeah, all these people who took off their jobs. And I wonder, do the people in the audience do they get a check too? Do they get a check? Because maybe it's kind of worth it if I'm gonna sit out here and get some money too. Okay, because I am part of the show, so maybe I'm gonna get a little bit of something. Let me know if y'all know the details about that. But Italians people take time off their jobs, fly in, only knowing that you gonna say no. Okay, only for you to say no. And once again, instead we see his mother comforting him, we see the teacher. His fifth grade teacher who has always been there for him. And that says a lot because he's in what? Is he in his late 20s? To still be in contact and communication with a teacher from fifth grade. Teachers make long lasting impacts on kids, where those are positive ones or negative ones. That one teacher can make a difference in someone's trajectory. Them going to college, them quitting school. So I enjoyed the fact that, she went to comfort him after KB was like doing her little social worker thing. Now the social worker kicks in. This doesn't define you. I do love you. I just couldn't see myself right now marrying you, but don't think that it's you. Don't think that I don't marry you. You're a good person. Okay, you're a good person. Just not good enough for me. You're good enough for somebody else. But if I had chosen you, then, oh, girl, where was all that social worker rhetoric during some of these other scenes? Okay, during some of these other scenes. And the teacher is like, you know what, Edmond? You deserve a diamond. And she maybe was a sapphire, but you want a diamond. Low key shade, but kind of still like, positive kind of talk to him. Okay. I like the narrative there. It's like it wasn't too shady, but a little bit. But Edwin is stricken with the grief of losing the loss of his the idealism, the romanticized things he had in his mind about him and KB having babies, praying for them, hoping God sees them. No, my brother. No. And I wonder, were there signs there that he just didn't see himself? Okay. But we see her in the dressing room with her mother, saying how she's just like, she's sad she hurt him. I feel like everybody in her life knew he wasn't for her. Her friends, her mother. And the mom's like, well, sometimes you gotta choose yourself. Like, what if you had said yes and chosen him over yourself? Well, then I probably would have been miserable. Was that a real moment? Or was it just to show save face? Okay, was it really real? I asked myself now thinking back to it, like, were you ready to go home? And it's just like, okay, I need to do this last scene. Was it really? They were never gonna make it. There was never any, like, I think, romance, physical touch. How many times did we see them kiss? Did we see them kiss on the lips, caressing each other? Did we ever really see her say anything nice about him that wasn't like that therapeutic social worker rhetoric? I don't think so. I don't think so. And I think once again, it's the idea of potential and who he, what he represented versus who he is as a person. I think KB over and over kept trying to look at the perspective of potential and what Edmond represented to her, but not Edmond the person. And she says, "You're still the most," what she say? "You got the best body." Okay, girl, you're laying on thick. You're laying it on thick. But they didn't get married. And I'm wondering about his getup. I wish they had explained like the tie. I think he had a flower and then the feather. It was doing too much. Now his groomsmen wearing the gray velvet, that was different. Okay. It wasn't too bad. It was a good kind of like combo, but it didn't really match what he was wearing. So that threw me kind of off. Her dress was very beautiful. A little bit of the titties. It was just sin too much right here for me. Too much. Okay, too much. But I wanna know, do they get a bonus for making it to the wedding? Okay, do they get a bonus? Now we also get to our last little situation here. Okay? Our last little situation with Miss Megan and Jordan. They did it right. Okay? To me, they did it right. I should say they, Megan, because Megan is the one that did it. So we get to the last, I'm like, oh, we only got like 10 more minutes left, and don't we got like a third wedding? What's going on? Then we get to this scene. Ships in the night. Okay, ships in the night. Where do I start, y'all? So Megan says she woke up and realized that we're just two different people. Our lifestyles are different. And I think with Megan, it was excitement versus reality. The excitement, the romanticized in my head, our lives together, me being a stepmother, a wife. But then the reality, like I have said in previous videos, the reality of having to take care of a child with special needs. And out of all the seasons I have watched, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like Jordan is the most regular, smegular guy I have seen on all these episodes. To me, genuine, has a regular job. I forget what they say. I read somewhere what he does, but I don't remember now. Has a regular job, is taking care of a child, and the child has special needs. And he was open from the beginning about being a father and having a child with special needs. He came off the most regular to me. I'm like, have we seen other people this transparent and this regular? Okay. He needs to get the other leg sleeve because it's kind of off. Okay. I like the arms and the one leg, but get that other leg done. Okay. So Megan is like, just, it kind of hit me that we have, are we really compatible and blah, 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 blah. You're not ready to be a stepmother. and him working a 9 to 5 and not having the same lifestyle as you caught up with you. You realize this ain't for me. The thing I appreciate though, and I don't know if we've seen this from the side of a woman, um, is her calling it off before the wedding. When she could have got dressed up like everybody else and went up there and, said no. But like, why? I give her credit for that. Why? Okay. And Jordan is like, even though we have different lives and I work a 9 to 5, I don't see it. We don't have that big difference that your mind is like coming up with. Like, we could still make it work. And they really zoomed in on his face, y'all crying. I'm like, why y'all zoom in on his face like that? Okay. I think the saddest thing for me about this is that she really wanted to meet Luca. And it reminds you once again, do not bring children into this experience. Because now, unfortunately, after this, he got to go pick his son up from school. The son might be excited, like, when are we going to see Megan again? When are we going to see Sparkle Megan? Never again. And how to explain that to a child? Who knows if the ex is mad too now? Like, oh, you brought our son into this shit, and now you're not even with the girl no more. Okay, because we really don't know about the co-parenting relationship too much from her perspective. But he's just like, I don't really see that we're that different. And you can see the hurt on him is that it's because of the money. It's because I work a job. It's because you work a lifestyle. You've been able to build a lifestyle where you never have to work again. I can't really give that to you. No, like, well, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 3 years. He doesn't want that though either. He's comfortable with just having a regular life, spending time with his kid, making experience and core memories with his son. So were they compatible? I want to say yes. Different lifestyles, yes. Could they have made it work? I don't think so. Even though out of all the couples, they were probably the most uh compatible this season, I guess. And that's not saying much. Their lifestyles would have just gotten in the way. And the reality of how much need Luca has really hit her. Waking up in the middle of the night, having to constantly check his glucose monitor and things like that. All the things that he can't do, I think really the reality set in for her. In some ways, I think it's good that she met Luca and experienced him because then she could see how it is to raise a child with special needs and maybe realize I'm just not there yet. Okay. I'm just not there yet. And so he's like, well, I'm done here. I guess I got to go pick up my son. And the reality is, as a parent, you can go through the hardest moments of your life and still have to show up as a parent. Okay. Have your heart broken on TV, but still, school pickup is in 20 minutes. I got to wipe these tears up, go pick up my son, and maybe pretend like everything is okay. And eventually explain to him what happened here. Okay, that's the saddest part is like Luca met her and probably really liked her and now has to be told you're never gonna see this woman again. At least I hope not. I hope it's not a like, well, at the reunion we find out I still met up with Luca. We meet up here and there and I'm still a part of his life. No, cut that shit off. Don't traumatize that kid. And then she's like, well, this whole experience maybe also showed me that I don't know if I can be a mom. Spoilers right now. Spoilers. Spoilers. Okay. Even though post show, Megan had a baby. She had a baby. Okay. She had a baby, and we're gonna find out at the reunion that she's now a mother. And I wonder if that, has kind of softened her. I don't think she lacked compassion for him because he said she apologizes for not having compassion. I don't know if it was that. I just think she's never been with someone probably who works a 9 to 5. She can't relate. She's probably normally dating entrepreneurs, businessmen who are probably C-suite people who have people below them doing a lot of grunt work while they're on a yacht, traveling, maybe taking phone calls about business deals. But they have people who do a lot of the day-to-day stuff and they enjoy the lifestyle. Okay. But I'm curious to see, her becoming a mother, um, how that's changed her perspective on that. I don't really know if in the reunion we're gonna get much else because the only thing they've highlighted so far is her coming out and saying that she gonna tell everybody she a mama now, a mamacita, a mama. Zero weddings, y'all. Zero, zero. This is probably the worst season. I think at least in Minnesota, y'all, I didn't really watch that one too much. It was too white for me. At least we got one wedding, I believe, out of that one, and even some of the people crossed over and are dating each other. At least we got the one wedding last season. Zero. Y'all need to go back to the drawing board. Figure out some of these places that y'all are choosing, some of the people y'all are choosing. Does Netflix really care anymore that people are only coming on here to be influencers, are not invested in the process, are not the most stable people, have mental health issues going on? Do they really care? They don't. Okay, because we already got Austin. I can't remember if Austin has already wrapped or are they still filming, but we gonna get that in the spring. Okay, we gonna get in the spring. But this season was bogus. How did y'all get 12 episodes? Okay. Normally we get what, 10? Maybe an 11? We get 10 and then the reunion. Child, all these people need therapy. Some of y'all are blaming Chelsea. And Kwame has come out. Is it Kwame? Kwame has come on and said, y'all need to stop blaming my wife. Chelsea does not have the final say. Okay. She does not have the final say, but she gets them people up into the final say. Okay. So stop the cat. But are things going to change? Probably not. Okay. Probably not. Probably not. We'll get more people next season. Hopefully we get actually a I do, not just a wedding, an I do. Okay. But this season was trash. Okay. The people here didn't need to be together. They were complete opposites, different lifestyles. It was all around bad. Okay. But of course, I want to know you guys' thoughts about this season. I'm about to move on, maybe do like one more video on this season. But we're moving on to Married at First Sight tomorrow. Let me know your thoughts about this season. Stick around, hit that like, subscribe, do all the do's to support this channel. If you got to this end of the video, put some stars in the chat. Let me know where you're watching from. Okay. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Have a good day and bye. See ya.